Hi, my name's Penny, and as usual, I'm here to talk about some bookish things. Specifically, today I wanted to take you guys through the books that I'm hoping to read in December. Now, usually I use my TBR Machine website to give me some reading prompts, and I use that to pick books for my TBR, but I already have 2,000 pages of books that I've borrowed either from the library or from my family, and we all know December is going to be busy with Christmas, and we're planning to go away because it's summer here in New Zealand, so there will be a summer holiday, and I don't tend to get much reading done when we go away. So if I pick books off my physical TBR using the TBR machine, we're just not going to get to them anyway, so it's a waste of time. I'd just be lying to you pretending that I'm going to get it done when I'm not going to get it done, and then putting stress on myself to try and get it done even though it's impossible. So we're just not going to do that. We're just going to read the books that I have here from the library and ones that I need to read for other reasons. So let me take you through those, and then I'll take you through the audiobooks that I want to read, which is also a fairly short list for the same reasons. So firstly, from the library, I have Dak Dawn by J. Kristoff. This is the last book in the Nevernight trilogy, which is all about this girl named Mia who learns to be an assassin in order to get revenge on the people who destroyed her family. Now, I believe this final book will get into a bit more around her shadow magic and what's going on with that. So that's the part that I'm most interested in. So I'm hoping that I'm going to love this one. It's definitely quite long though. 470 something pages. So I think this will take me a little bit to get through, but hopefully I'll be able to read it before it's due back at the library. The next book that I have out from the library is Five Dark Fates by Kendara Blake. This is the final book in the Three Dark Crowns series. So we got a few final books here, which is exciting. This book is all about these three queens who have all been raised by different factions, even though they're sisters. They each have different kinds of magical abilities, and the idea in the first book was that they were supposed to fight to the death over the throne. It hasn't quite worked out like this, and things are in quite a different place by the time we get to this final book, the fourth book in the series. I'm really looking forward to getting back into this kind of dark, witchy world and seeing what happens next, but I'm kind of scared for it to end. I think it's going to be dramatic. Then luckily we've got an easy one because I think both of those are quite long, but I do have Alcatraz versus the Evil Librarians by Brandon Sanderson. I only found out about this recently. It seems from the back that it's a 5-book series, middle grade series by Brandon Sanderson. I don't really know much more about it than that, but really, Brandon Sanderson, Evil Librarians, that's all I need. I'm excited to read it, so I will be doing that. Then I have a couple of books that are kind of borrowed. This book here, Shep A Sting, I have bought for my mum for Christmas. This is I think the 17th book in the series. I've been buying these for my mum for her birthdays and Christmas for quite a while now. I don't even know when it started. I remember though I bought her like the first 3 for one of her birthdays, and then the next day I got a message saying, where did you get these books from? Where do I get the next book in the series? And then she rushed straight out to the shop and bought more in the series. So she enjoys the series. It has been going on quite a long time now, so I'm not sure she enjoys it quite as much as she enjoyed the first books, but I still really enjoy them, so I still buy them for her. I think she still likes them a bit. Even though they're kind of formulaic, we have this girl named Jin who is an assassin. She's kind of developed these friendships along the way, and every book there's a new criminal for her to fight, and she has to protect her friends, and she uses her elemental powers. It's just fun paranormal fantasy with a dash of romance. They're very action oriented and fast paced, and I just really enjoy them, so I'm looking forward to reading this. But I like to pre-read the books I give away to people so that they don't then need to worry about lending them back to me so that I can read them, and also it means that when they're reading it they can talk to me about it and I'll know what they're talking about. It's like part of the present. That's how I like to look at it. So I want to pre-read this before Christmas basically, so I will be needing to read this month. This one, what actually happens in this one? Oh, I remember, I just read the back. While each book still has its individual villains, there's kind of like overarching plot arcs. We're on to, I think, about the 3rd one now. So we are chasing down the Circle, which is this criminal gang that Jin's parents might have had something to do with. Her parents that died when she was younger. Or did they? I have my suspicions. haven't been revealed yet. So that's not a spoiler, that's just a suspicion. So hopefully in this one, I'll have my suspicions confirmed, which would be fun. And then the other book I borrowed from my sister is The Diviners by Librarians. I believe there's a few booktubers, is it Emma Books and Sarah without an H and somebody else doing a read-along of this series. I think this read-along finished reading this in November. So I'm behind, but like that's normal. So I want to read The Diviners. I did try to listen to the audiobook a long time ago and I have seen people saying that they really enjoyed the audiobook and I thought maybe it's a different audiobook, but I looked it up. There only seems to be one version, so I don't know why everyone else likes their audiobook. I found it completely unlistenable. Like I just felt like it was being read as if it was being read to children, like it was a children's story, and I don't think it's a children's story. I do think it's YA fantasy, set in like the 20s, and I don't really know much more about it than that, other than there's kind of some kind of underground magical society. Lots of people like it, so hopefully I will too, because it's 570 something pages, so it's a bit of a massive one. I might end up having to take it away on holiday if I don't quite finish it before Christmas, which I suspect I won't. But it is nice to have a book to take away on holiday for like those 5 minutes when I have time to read. Although actually Jace is getting into bird photography lately, so I might have more time to read while he goes off and chases birds around the forest and stuff. You know, as you do. But in total, all those books come to 2,178 pages, which will definitely be more than enough for me in the month of December. But let's talk also about audiobooks. So the first audiobook I'm going to be listening to is The Dragon Republic by R.F. Kuang. This is quite a long one at 24 hours. I'm going to try and start it in November, but I don't think I'm going to get it finished. So this is the sequel to The Poppy War, which is this Chinese-inspired fantasy with this god-based magic. We follow this girl Rin, who starts out as an orphan in poverty, but manages to get herself into this military school just in time for a war to start. I personally was a little bit iffy on the Poppy War. There were some parts that I really loved, but in the end, I kind of felt like I didn't care anymore about any of the characters. So I'm hoping that The Dragon Republic will get me back on board, although from some of the things I've heard, I'm not sure if it's going to be for me, but we'll try it. It's an audiobook. It's low risk. Then I also have the audiobook for Stars Above by Marissa Meyer. So this is a short story anthology of just a whole bunch of little backstories from the characters of the Lunar Chronicles. I already listened to about half of this and I didn't think it was anything amazing, but I'm just listening to it for completeness sake because I am a completionist. I like to complete things and tie things up. So I'm going to do that. It shouldn't take too long. But then more excitingly, I do have the audiobook for Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. So this is a book that a lot of people have talked about. I believe it's written kind of documentary interview style. It's all about this band, Daisy Jones and the Six, and just them telling their story. It's kind of similar, I believe, to Fleetwood Mac. I am a fan of Fleetwood Mac. So hopefully I'll like Daisy Jones and the Six. It is a contemporary, which isn't my normal genre, and I don't expect to love it as much as everyone else did. But I did like The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, which is also by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Again, not as much as everybody who raves about it, but I thought it was good. So I'm hoping that I'll feel similarly about Daisy Jones and the Six. And then lastly, I have Aurora Rising by Jay Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. So this is a YA sci-fi about this group of space cadets and the trouble they get into after they find this girl named Aurora who's been kind of stuck in stasis in space and then has just been found. I actually had this on my November TBR, but I haven't gotten to it and I had to renew the audiobook, so I guess I'll be getting to it in December. And that will be all the books that I'm reading in December, which is like a million times more achievable than my normal TBRs, so hooray. I'd like to believe that this is the beginning of me making lovely, achievable TBRs for myself, but I have to be honest, it's not going to happen. I am also hoping that my library holds for either Call Down the Hawk by Maggie Stiefvater or Starsight by Brandon Sanderson will come through. There's 2 new releases from November. My library, I'm quite near the top of the hold list, but I think my library is just taking a little while to actually get them in, so I'm still waiting, but fingers crossed. Also, I will probably be adding another book onto this TBR for the Book Junkie Trials Winter Quest. I just need to figure out what that book is going to be, because for the Book Junkie Trials Winter Quest there are 10 prompts, I believe, and the idea is to read as few books as possible while still ticking off all those prompts. And every book that I find on my shelves only matches like 8 or 9 prompts. And one of the prompts is that you have to not spend money on the book, which is fine because I can get a library book, so I've got quite a lot of books to choose from. But I'm really struggling to find a fantasy with a white cover with animals in it, written by someone in a marginalized group, and deals with death. Those are the main prompts that I'm struggling to find that fit all together. I also don't particularly like defining people as marginalized myself. Like, it's fine if other people want to call themselves marginalized, but I don't really enjoy being like, oh, this author's marginalized. So that's making that bit quite hard. But before the Winter Quest starts, which I believe is the second week of December, so I've got a little bit of time, before that I will find a book. Definitely. So there'll be one more book to this TBR. Anyway, that's my TBR for the month. Let me know if you've read any of these books and whether you think I'm going to like them. And then if you come back at the end of the month, we'll be able to discuss how it actually went. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you're having a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.